We're here to fuck shit up.
Absolutely. I have so many things that are just going to mess up your head today, whether it's crazy stories from across the globe. And trust me, just the first two alone are just going to borderline traumatize you, but they're going to stick with you. Okay. They are. You might need therapy. I don't know. Also, I'm going to wrap things up today talking about some insane moments from yesterday's Little League game. But I'll get into that later. But I think what we need to do now, let's get into the funny, let's get into the weird, let's get into the bizarre, let's get into those headlines.
Let's go! Let's go!
And now, here are the headlines.
Well. Guess who's back? The old green dildo tossers are back in the WNBA. Woo! We haven't seen one of them since last season. This here is the first one of this season. It happened last Thursday between the Dream and Sparks. One of the ladies is at the free throw line, and some dude decides, you only live once. And he chucks a green dildo. Thankfully, it wasn't during regular gameplay, because could you imagine if somebody got hurt, season, career ending, whatever it is, and because they trip on a dildo? Come on. But somebody throws a green dildo out onto the court, and half the ladies are laughing. Angel Reese is like pointing the guy out like he took shots at somebody. That's what it was like. There he is, the old dildo thrower. Get him, folks, get him. And then he gets the guy. There's video of him like trying to evade security. He like pushes the security guy away. He gets arrested for it. Which is funny to me. There's a lot funny in this story, but I don't suggest anybody go and do this because it is moronic and it wastes everybody's time. But it's hard not to laugh, but it has here's what's funny too, because like I'm watching the video of it. It looks like it has a suction cup on the bottom of it, and I just couldn't help but think, what if when the dude threw it, it landed on the suction cup and it just goes boing, oing, 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 oing. I'm sorry. I know it's childish, but I thought of it and I had to express it. I'm sorry. Okay? But anyway, the guy gets arrested. What's hilarious, not only did Angel Reese like point him out, like, you know, this guy's a villain in the most horrific of news stories, but also that it's laying on the court and nobody just goes and gets it and then tosses it into a trash can or something. No. They have to act like it's a hazardous material or a rabid animal, like it's a raccoon with rabies or something like that. So they try to toss a towel over it, and then somebody swoops it up with the towel like it's a turd or, like I said, a radioactive bomb or something. And then they remove it. Just fucking grab it. I'm sorry. If I'm at the game, I'd be looking at everybody. No, fuck it. I'm walking on the court. Just give it here. And I'm walking away until, right? Come on. Man up. Woman up. Somebody just go grab it and take it off the freaking court. Don't act like it's a hazmat situation. My goodness. That being said, hilarious. Hilarious. And now that guy's... What if that guy had like warrants out for his arrest, or he was on probation? Like, you screw up one more time, Todd, you're going to be in the slammer, okay? You're going to do at least 10 to 20. Oh, don't worry, sir. I'll keep my nose clean. And then he's headed home. Had a rough day at the office. And he's like, ooh, that's a nice looking dildo that I see in the window of this adult shop. I think I'll buy it. Because I got tickets to the WNBA game. Who was it? It was the Dream and Sparks. Okay. I'm going to do it. Fuck it, man. You only live once. They're never going to get me. There's cameras everywhere, buddy. And then next thing you know, he's in jail or prison. Imagine that. He's going to be so popular in jail. So popular. What an idiot. But part of me is like, the WNBA should embrace this. Okay. Get some sponsorships going on. Maybe even do like halftime shows. Okay. Have a dildo race. I guess that would be a vibrator race. Wouldn't that be, Connery? Absolutely, Scotty. Since it vibrates, no brainer. It's going to be a vibrator. But yes, you could do a race. I've done that several times. We don't need to get into that. But yeah, have a race. Have a tossing contest. Bonus points if it lands on a suction cup. Right? Type of thing. That'd be great. Or, Scotty, you could do this, a magic show. Yeah. Oh, no. Where did it go? I'll tell you where it went. It went up my... Okay, no. No. Gosh, darn it, Connery. This is a mature program. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No magic shows, though, please. Please. It's so bizarre. What an idiot. Funny, but dumb. This kind of goes with the other story. And trust me, guys, this is just, it's not like I go seeking these things out. They just happen. Kacey Musgraves, I believe she's a country artist, is doing a concert the other day. And there's video of this, and I'll put it on the video version. Same with the previous story. There's going to be video in case you want to see the green dildo. But this lady, Kacey Musgraves, she's performing her song. I believe it's Middle of Nowhere. And before I tell you what she's doing, she's promoting a product that she's partnered up with. And it's called Drought Drops. Okay. Kacey Musgraves, is on this. It's like a disco ball hanging above the stage. And she's sitting on it, singing her song. But instead of a disco ball, guys, it's like giant truck nuts. I know you would say it's a ball sack, but it's literally just what you would see on the back of a pickup truck with a guy with ball nuts or truck nuts, whatever, right? And it's like it's the disco ball version. And she's just singing along, right? Because the imagery is promoting Drought Drops, a limited edition personal lubricant inspired by her Middle of Nowhere single. Okay? The organic aloe water-based formula doubles as a vaginal moisturizer. Scotty, I must interject. Yeah, go ahead, cowboy. Listen, I appreciate the giant balls hanging from the ceiling at her concert and all. Yeah, absolutely. I get it. But if this is a vaginal moisturizer, why isn't it a giant vagina? I don't get it. That's a good point. It makes no sense. Right? Come on. This is a product for women of, we don't need to get into it, but that's what it is. And it's like, she could be sitting in a giant vagina. That's all I'm saying. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say, but here we are. Here we are. You guys know, you see that hanging? Everybody in the crowd would be like,
big vagina?
Gigantic vagina.
Yeah, it would be a gigantic vagina. Just saying, Cowboy's right. It would make more sense if it was that. Again, if you're watching the video version, you see what I'm talking about. So weird. It's funny though. I showed it to my son and I didn't give him any context. I was like, hey, look at this. And he's like, turns bright red. I was like, you know what those are? He's like, Dad, stop. He's 13. He's had the talk reluctantly, but he's had the talk. Tulsa police are looking for a person described as a serial defecator. We've talked about people like this before. Apparently, this is an ongoing problem. It's a global epidemic, okay? A business owner in the shopping center reported that a man had defecated in a dog waste basket. Oh, that's nice. A waste bag, excuse me. And was smearing it on the walls. Well, that's not nice. And doors of businesses. I wonder if he like cut like a pastry thing. That's the thing that popped in my head. If you're gonna do it in a bag, tie the bag, cut a little top with some scissors, and then you can get really artsy and get very creative with it. Okay, just saying, giving some tips to you public defecators out there. Again, something you don't want to be like. Why didn't Todd show up for work? He got arrested for what? Pooping in a dog bag and then, decorating things with with it. Listen, there's a lot of wrong in today's show. And to be honest, I feel like the worst person is the serial defecator, because I can deal with somebody throwing a sex toy on the court of a WNBA game. I have a problem and I frown upon it deeply. Somebody that wants to smear feces everywhere. That's disgusting. Hey, but you know what? To each your own. Okay, there you go. Ah, I don't know if I want to read this one. This one's weird. Where are we at on time? I guess. Here's the thing. I'm going to read this story, but you cannot laugh at this story because it's Darwinism, okay? But you can't. Promise me you won't laugh at this. Because at first I was laughing, then I'm like, oh God, oh God. A 34-year-old man is accused of playing shadow puppets with a grapple of a boom and crushing his coworker's head as they were trimming trimming trees in Apple Valley, Minnesota. He told police that he and his friend were quote unquote fucking around and saw that the sunlight was casting shadows of the grapple and Lynch's body on the street. He said he moved the grapple to make it look like he was grabbing his buddy's shadow. The criminal complaint says the man was moving the grapple without looking at his friend. He then closed the grapple, crushing his friend's head. Why did you laugh at that? Why? Listen, you could if you believe in hell, you just punched your ticket. You did. If you don't believe in hell, guess what you just did? You just manifested it into reality, because somewhere in the world, on this plane of existence, the universe is like, whoa, we see a disturbance of energy, of twisted energy coming from that person right there, you. And you know what? There wasn't a hell, but now we got to make one because of that, dude. Dude, there are so many dumb fucking people. This is what I try to explain to my kids. I don't necessarily worry about you fucking up. I worry about other people. It's like you ride your bike to school or you're riding your bike somewhere with your buddies. I don't worry that you're going to make a mistake. I worry that somebody else is going to make a mistake. And this is a great fucking example. And the fact that you laughed at it, that's so twisted. That what's messed up about that is like anybody, like it's such a like what are you thinking? This guy's going to jail for the rest of his life, and the other guy fucking lost his life because the other guy's a fucking moron. My God. Ugh. A small village, and I still can't believe you laughed. You're giggling now. A small village in England, a couple had been forced to flatten their home that they built instead of a council-approved horse semen laboratory. Scotty, what the fuck did you just say? They had to tear down the house because they said it was supposed to be a semen laboratory for horses? Yes, that's exactly what I said. They got approval to build this facility slash home. It's supposed to be a home slash laboratory. They lied about it. And then as inspectors go in to do their thing, they realize, psst, nobody's jacking off a fucking horse in here. Nobody. Unless you count Gary, the owner. I don't know. Maybe he's hung like a horse. I don't know. Doesn't matter. They approved it to be this one thing. They say it is. They must have got some sort of kickback on that through the council, and that helped them. But I guess inside it was a normal home. And it was supposed to be essentially divided, where it's a live-in laboratory. Like part of it is for them to live. The other part is for business. Now, but it's just like you lied and said like the front of the house, there's a big sign like, horse semen laboratory. We jack off so you don't have to, like type of thing, right? But you go inside and it's just like a normal house. It's so bizarre that somebody would go that direction. You would assume that it'd be like, it's a normal house, but on the down low, we're actually, cranking out, horses back there, secretariats back there, smoking a cigarette, because that's what we're doing and selling it on the black market. No, it was the opposite. Part of me is just like, I got this like Sopranos type of vibe in my head. I haven't been using TikTok for much other than for whatever reason, I must have watched like one, and now it like pops up like every other video as I scroll through TikTok is a Sopranos scene. And so that's what it made me think of. Like, is there like a boss that is like telling people, listen, anybody X, we jerk off horses here. You got that? Nobody thinks this is a normal house. We're jacking off horses, and that's it. Okay? Capiche? That's my mobster voice. You're welcome. Talking about jacking off horses. That's so bizarre. So fucking bizarre. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? This is like every story has been a why would you do that? My goodness. Georgia police are asking the public to help identify a Walmart shopper who allegedly picked up $30 dropped by another customer and did not turn the cash over to the store employees. According to Georgia law, that is lost or mislaid property. A person can commit theft by taking control of property they know or later learn belongs to someone else. The law also requires them to take reasonable steps to return the property to its owner. If I lived in that area and I knew that law, I'd be like, did anybody lose their money? Anybody lose their money? Anybody lose money? Just try to whisper it. What about finders keepers? This is horse shit. I don't understand this. I think that's a little ridiculous. When I covered the Super Bowl in Miami. It might have been the first night I was there. I'm walking back from the convention center at night to our hotel. And I was going to meet, Schlereth was coming in, I think that night. And he and I were going to go meet for drinks. And I think it was Mike, Kendall, and I were walking back. And I'm leading the way, walking. And I'm like, holy shit. There was a wad of cash on the ground. It was like $60 or $80. one or the other. It doesn't matter. It's a significant amount of money. And I'm like looking around, and I literally did that where I was like, anybody lose money? Anybody? Like somewhat quiet, but I'm still saying it out loud, like, anybody lose it? But I'm looking around. There's nobody around. Nobody. I'm like, fuck it. Putting it in my pocket. I'm taking it as a sign that I can save money right now. Listen, I believe it was Mike was saying, he's looking at it the other angle. He was saying, he's like, what if that was some lady's, money for groceries? And I probably said something to the effect of like, well, I guess she's going to go on a diet this week because I just made $60. What am I supposed to do? We're in the middle of downtown Miami. There's nobody around. Am I supposed to go door to door to business and be like, did you lose this money? Because somebody's going to be like, yeah, that's mine, and snag it from me. No. So what did I do? I go and I bought drinks for Schlereth and I, right? Okay. Wrote it off. got 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 I expensed it, I should say. There we go. Listen, what side note, whenever I traveled with the guys, I always liked it because if I get reimbursed, like people like Schlereth, he works hard for his money, but he has money and he always takes care of people. So I would always try my best if I was in a situation like that, like they're just going to pay me back anyway. So I would do my best to always, Mark, I got it. I got it. I remember in Minnesota, first time he and I traveled together, we're at some, it wasn't Applebee's, but it was like TGI Fridays or something like that. And I'm like, Mark, I got you, right? Because he's the guy that always takes care of people. And I'm like, no, I'm in a position now where I can do it because it's essentially costing me nothing. But in the radio realm, if you're behind the scenes, you make significantly less than the individuals that are on the air, especially in the sports world, because those guys, the major talent, former athletes, they bring in a lot of listeners and viewers, so they make more money. And it was one of those things where I was like, fuck it, I'll take care of my guy. Because it's costing me nothing. Because he wouldn't look for reimbursement. He didn't want to take the time to fill out those things. So it's like I take care of my bitches, right? As much as I can. Anyway, have you ever been in a situation where you've found money on the ground or somebody makes a mistake and you gain money because of that? I mean, at a store, listen, it's the Georgia law says that you're supposed to turn it into the store. But the fact that they're looking for this guy for $30 is a little silly. You tell me that that's the best use of police resources. I find that ridiculous. But if I found $20 at the store on the ground, I'm putting it in my pocket unless I see it. If there's like a family right there, unless they're assholes. If they're assholes, I'm putting the money in my pocket. let's be let's be honest. But if I see them, I'm gonna be like, ma'am, I think you dropped this, or sir, I think you dropped this, right? And give it to them. But if there's nobody around or if it's busy, I'm just going to put it in my pocket and say the universe is just taking care of me, patting me on the back. Good example, and then we'll move on. When my father died in 84, I want to say my mom, because she would get Social Security checks to help put food on the table. And every like once a month she would take us out for like say lunch or something at Village Inn. That was our thing. Okay. So Village Inn is kind of nostalgic for me. And I remember she was very conscious about what we spent money on. And I remember she pays for the meal. She had $100 bill because she just got the cash or cash the check. So she, whatever the, let's say, probably back then, I want to say this happened in like 1986, yeah, probably ish. Um, so she pays the bill for us three kids and her to have dinner or lunch, whatever it was. She pays with $100 bill. Let's say the meal probably cost 25 bucks, whatever it was. I don't know, inflation and shit. The cashier gives her change plus the $100 bill back. And ooh, and my mom and us, we leave Village Inn and we're walking back home. And she stops and she goes, "Wait a minute." And she goes through the cash and she's like, she gave us change plus the money that I originally paid with. And she asked us, should I go back and tell them what happened and give them the money back? And we collectively, as a family, said no, because we could really use the money. I know that's fucked up. I know that's fucked up. And that person probably lost their job in there. But there's a lot of ways you can look at this. We were hurting for money. There was we Christmases were from Salvation Army or just donated gifts and stuff like that. It was one of those things where we were getting by barely, barely. Okay. And then the universe gave my mom basically paid us to go eat at Village Inn. And the other way I look at it too is as somebody that's worked in customer service, learn how to count, learn how to give change back. It's, I don't know. I'm not, given our situation, yeah, absolutely. 100 times. Do it again. But I'm sure some people will be like, that's not right. If you gave it back, the universe, could pay it forward and give you good karma. Yeah, I don't know. Feel like we were getting bent over a barrel at that time anyway. So maybe that was the universe going saying, "Hey, listen, we got you. Here's 25 bucks, essentially. Whatever." I know. It's not a popular choice, but that's what we agreed on as a family because we looked at each other and we knew that was something that was okay. Yeah, we'll take it. Anyway, nobody said I had a good moral compass. I'm just saying that's what we did, and I'm still fine with it. I got to bring this up. I tweeted it out. I posted it on Facebook, but I'm so proud of our Green Monsters. That's the team name for our I think we're 13U fall ball little league baseball. Uh, we were down. We had our first game of fall ball yesterday, and I'm technically the head coach. It's just because I have more availability. But that being said, I am constantly referring to Coach Carl and Coach Brandon because they have a lot of experience when it comes to baseball and a lot more knowledge. But anyway, so we're playing the game against a very good opponent and people that we respect. So it was a fun atmosphere, and our objective is always to build the kids with skills and life skills, not just on the field, but life skills. But anyway, it's the fourth inning. We're down 7-1. And Carl and I both say to the boys, we need to chip away, chip away. We're not looking to win it off of one play. We have to chip away at this, but we can do it. You got to believe. You got to believe in your teammates. The other day I was talking about how, guys, look at your teammates. These are your brothers. You play hard for them and yourself, okay? So we've been talking about this never give up mentality. Just because you're down doesn't mean you're out. So we're down by 6, and we start chipping away. We get 3 in 1 inning, and then it comes to the next inning, and it gets to the point where I'll tell you where it's at. We're running short on time because in fall ball, you get an hour 45. If once it hits 45 minutes, an hour 45, time's up. If whoever is at bat, they will be the final at bat, no matter what. So here's what ends up happening. My son hits a triple, and we're down by, at that time, by 3. Another guy comes up. He lines out to first, but my son scores. Okay, we're down by 2. A newer player to our squad. He just moved up from majors. I believe did he walk? I think he walked and got on to first. Okay. Next guy comes up. He takes a couple pitches, and then the umpire makes an announcement. This will be the final at bat, final batter. We're down by 2. Runner on first. My guy, I swear to God, I'm sitting here. This is it. If he can get a home run out of the park, inside the park, we tie the game. And I'm fine with that. But easier said than done, right? So he rips it to right center field. The guy on first, not known for wheels, okay? But he's known for a tremendous amount of heart. And the guy on first, well, I'll just say his name, James. James is on first. Adrian's at bat. Adrian rips it to right center field. James is, and I'm on third. Carl's on first, as far as coaching goes. And I'm just like, run as hard as you can. Okay. And James, I wish parents and other players could see the perspective from us coaches on the field, the determination of your players. Because James, I still get goosebumps because I see him. He's running his fucking heart out. He turns, heads towards third, and I was like, do not stop. Go. Maybe I was like, faster. I don't know. Okay. I was like, go home. And he goes, and he gets home safely. And then right on his heels is Adrian. Adrian has wheels. He almost catches up to James. And he knows. There's no second chance. They throw it in. They hit their cutoff. They throw it home. The plate is at home. This is where core memories are made. Adrian is just gunning it. And he slides in safe because the ball was thrown slightly high. The catcher did his best to catch it, just barely out of reach. And even if he would have caught it, he still would have had to go down. It was a beautiful play at home. It was a beautiful just moment where these guys did not give up. It was beautiful. I strained my voice. I tried to be calm the entire game. But when they started chipping away and making a comeback because they didn't put their heads down, they kept them up and they saw the challenge in front of them and they rose to the challenge. It was freaking awesome. Awesome. And it was a great example of just because you have adversity doesn't mean that you can't overcome it. And it was cool. So cool. In fact, when I see the boys on Wednesday, we're going to have a quick recap of what happened and why that was successful. Obviously, you don't want to live in the past, but you can learn from it and build on it because what those boys did and what led up to it of not giving up and the idea of chipping away and not overthinking, it was a beautiful thing. That it was so freaking cool. So cool. And yeah, it was a tie, but we 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 would have kept on going and shit, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was a great learning game. And the fact that they ended with a tie in that dramatic, and the fact that I am always saying, find that extra gear. Do not stop. In practice and you push yourself to another level that you did not think you had. So when you're in the game, those moments aren't as intense. So when I'm teaching these boys to run through first, or you hustle through the bases, there's a reason, and that was the reason. It was phenomenal. And we played a very respectful team, and it was cool. All the coaches were like, that was a fun game. Now, I'm sure their team was a little upset because they blew a 6-point lead, but they should be darn proud too because, they fought to the end as well. But anyway, I just had to share that. It was a fun experience as a coach and to see the intensity that is on the faces of these boys as they're becoming men and they're learning like, dude, we got knocked down, but we got back up. It was it was a great moment for me as well as them. So it was neat. It was fun. It was fun. So anyway, I just had to share it. I'm sorry. Look at me. I'm like a proud papa. I'm a proud papa. Oh my God. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I did tickle one of the other coaches. I don't know if that was crossing the line, but his back was turned. I said to one of his coaches, I said, I just want to go tickle Jerry. And he's like, go for it. Because Jerry, his arms were resting up on the fence. And I was like, kick, 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 kick. It's fun, guys. It's fun. Anyway, guys, that's it for the news. Thank you so much for joining the program. Really do appreciate it. If you if you have it, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you interact with the show if you're able. And you guys listening and interacting does help this show become the #1 comedy podcast in the state of Colorado. So I do thank you guys so much. It's DeHuff Uncensored. Let's keep moving forward. I'll talk to you next time.